What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Obsession. I'm Karl.
I'm Mike Sadler.
Mike,
Karl.
how we doing?
Good, good.
Good.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Doing good.
What do you got here in front of us?
We got Gigantor the Shed. Called as our new table piece.
Looks good.
Found here, yeah.
I would shoot that deer.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's a winner.
Yeah, good one. Oh, good.
Old good.
We're going to keep that now for our new I Wish section.
There, the I Wish section.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the I Wish section things, we got a question from Steven from Ohio. Says you guys talked about fallback bedding.
Yep.
For your bucks. What is the distance for these areas from your regular bedding areas? And is it thicker or the same as your regular bedding areas? Are there better locations for fallback bedding to make? In other words, places to put it? And how many of them do you think you put on a property? Basically, hey, can you lay my bedding areas on? Right. Fallback bedding.
Right. So, fallback bedding to me, first of all, Steven, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Steven. So, is an area, to me, so like on my east end of my property,
yeah,
where my neighbor's woods is connected to my woods, whatever, all one woods. Property line is. We have a bedding area there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hey, tell everybody why you put your bedding on the property line. Some people probably don't know, dude.
Kind of smart.
That's right. That's right, because he's smart. It's a fact.
Well, this is kind of, it kind of goes with the fallback part.
Yes.
So the bedding part of mine is because I want the deer to bed on mine, first of all. So where I have that one specifically is because I know where they enter in and out of their property into that food plot. So it pushes those deer back anyway.
Right.
Into my bedding.
We didn't talk about it, but there's the neighbor kindly put a food plot 20 yards on the other side.
Yeah, you're talking that specific?
That specific.
Yeah, that's why I have that,
that
bedding there. And then behind that, it's not really, I don't think there's a yardage or a certain set distance it's got to be, because it's going to depend on how much property you got.
Well, it's true. It's the depth of cover.
Yeah, depth of cover. So let's just say we're hunting my ridge.
Yeah.
And you're off of that east bedding.
Yeah.
The neighbor comes in, bumps those deer back out of that bedding, and now they move in 150 yards, and they're right back in bedding, and they settle in.
Yep.
That's 100% what you want the fallback bedding for.
Correct.
You don't want them screaming through your property.
Yes.
And out, right?
On the other side, yeah.
So
we both have small properties.
Yeah,
so
they have to feel comfortable and able to fall back on that. Or if it's a situation, I know we kind of have areas set up like that. Like coming in, you think you have a higher probability of bumping a deer.
Yeah.
Most deer, and I know people freak out, and we do it.
Oh yeah.
You bump a deer, you think, he's running off the property.
Biggest buck on the property.
Yeah. The reality is they're not running off the property.
No.
You want to give them an area where they bump back in, and they just kind of settle right in right away. That's the biggest thing about, to me, the fallback stuff.
Yeah.
It gives them an area to fall back and feel safe and still stay on your property and not leave,
So, and then right now some of you guys are going, well, if the food is here and we're setting up the bedding right by the food, well, that's doe bedding. Well, yeah, within reason. Yeah, and then you guys are thinking, those of you who are educated on this are thinking, well, that fallback bedding is the buck bedding. Well, that's not necessarily true. So when we say fallback bedding, yes, if the does get bumped off the edge, they're going to back up in closer to the bucks. Well, what happens at that point? During the rut, stuff like that really doesn't matter. No. Okay. But during the early season, Yeah, if they were consistently having that happen, the bucks would move further, right? So we're not exactly what you would call, in my opinion, doe bedding here, buck bedding, small bucks here,
Right.
mature bucks back here.
Well,
I've found, I
sounds
think,
great.
in my opinion, buck bedding is buck bedding.
Yeah.
They are an isolated animal. Even the smaller bucks, except obviously during the summertime when they're all grouped up in bachelor groups. But, you know, during that time of year when they're solitary, yeah, buck bedding is buck bedding. They're usually fairly secure back away from the does until it's that time, or it's time to start testing the waters. You know, and the fallback bedding is on my property, because it's only 70 some acres, is between 50 and 100 yards back from that first edge. And when I say the first edge, I mean the first edge of buck bedding.
Mhm.
What I would consider buck bedding.
Right.
The fallback to that would be up the valley into that really thick stuff.
Right.
You know? And the does will run up there or whatever at times. You know, it's not like every day Mike's neighbor comes over here and hunts his food plot, pushes deer back.
Right.
You know, everybody, you know, you could have that, but 9 times out of 10, the does really won't move that far anyway.
Yeah.
If they're isolated enough, I think, to where they can only, you know, they can be back off and he could be in the stand and they're not uncomfortable actually being able to see them, they'll sit right there.
Yeah, I'll sit right there. You
'Cause
can
we've
come
seen
in.
that.
I think, you know what, a lot of people, and we talk, we both have the fallback bedding stuff that we've talked about. I think what we try to do is make, better spots that you know you're gonna, like, okay, bucks are gonna wanna bed in this more
Yeah.
than does are gonna wanna bed in this.
Yes.
And people are like, you know, bedding's not bedding
No,
to us.
no,
I'm
100%.
speaking for us.
Yes.
Bedding's not bedding. Bedding is different, like you were saying, you know, more mature bucks, like, and they are loners.
Yeah.
They kind of pick their spots. That's where they want to be. You know, when the does are there, the does are kind of willy-nilly. They don't really care as much.
No,
You know, they'll kind of bed anywhere. Bucks really won't bed just anywhere.
no, they're very specific, I think, about what they do.
And yeah, they're a lot more, I think, you know, because, how do I want to say it? You know, because you can bump a doe's probably not leaving your property.
No.
You know, you bump a buck out of his bed too many times, he's leaving.
Oh, yeah.
You know, will he come back at some point? Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe not, but he don't like it
No.
because now that spot's not safe to him anymore.
Right.
So, like, we try to keep our really thick, secluded areas that we have out of there. We
Yeah.
want to stay out of there, and that's even entry exits. You know, the fallback stuff. A lot of times, you know, like Karl was talking too, especially like off of plots, stuff like that. Those are the ones you're going to kick up anyway.
Yeah.
The most of the time.
And there's another advantage. I mean, Mike did it this year, and you guys will see some of the videos and stuff. Are you paying attention to what's going on right now? You guys check out the Obsession. You'll be able to see the stuff that Mike's done, the beautiful mess
The
lately.
beautiful mess.
But the beautiful mess is basically fallback bedding because of what we've seen here over the last 8 years.
Yep.
And where they've been bedding consistently, where the bucks have been bedding, and we know that the does are in front of them, closer to the food, the destination food. So, the beautiful mess is going to change the dynamic on the property totally this year.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've seen, and I'll give Mike kudos on this, I am pretty sure that we're gonna see some bigger bucks being held on this smaller property this year than ever before.
Yeah.
And you've had great deer on here
Yeah,
multiple years.
we've been real good and had good deer in here too. And I think, you know, especially Steven, you know, and I talked about this on another video that I put out when we started doing the cutting
Mhm.
here. Get some opinions,
Yeah,
get some people to come in because there really is a science into it. I mean, I don't have a degree in forestry.
no,
You know, I do read a lot of stuff. Karl reads a lot of stuff.
right,
We do things, but like once you start cutting trees down, you gotta know what you're doing.
yeah, cause you can't put them back up.
Can't put them back up. Ask our wives.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, there's certain trees that gotta just get on the ground.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had some people reaching out to me now, like, you know, how come you didn't hinge this and you should have hinged that? And I'm like, no, not really.
Right.
Certain trees get to certain ages,
Yep.
they either fall down on their own
Die. Yep.
or die, or you take them down and put them on the ground at a point where the root system still sprouts out of the ground.
Yeah.
See, that's what a lot of people don't know. Like the ash and aspen trees
Yeah.
that we put on the ground, 30 to 40-year tree.
Yep.
So at 30 years, you cut that tree down, that root system's strong.
Oh yeah.
Strong in the ground, will resprout a ton.
Yep.
At 35 to 40 years old, not as likely.
No.
Still going to put it on the ground, cool, or it's going to come down on its own.
Yeah.
But now it's not going to resprout.
Yeah, and a 20 to 30-year-old aspen cut completely off on the ground is going to put 11 to 15,000 shoots out of its root system that very first year.
Yep.
And what do you get when you do that? So you get deer browse, you get deer cover,
Yep.
and it's just going to continue as they browse on that. It's just going to continue to resprout
Yep.
and continue to.
And like we say, it is a science.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, and the thing is, like, you can have all the food on your property you want,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Food
no.
plots, cornfields, everything. Cool. It's all going to go away at some point.
Yeah.
And if it goes away too soon and you got no browse on the ground,
Yeah.
deer go away.
Yeah, they either go away or they starve to
Or they
death.
starve to death.
Yeah.
So, you know, browse on the ground outside of your food plots is a huge thing in a woods.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing.
The other thing I'll throw out there at that point too, you know, you guys are talking about for sustaining deer over the winter, that's a huge deal.
Mhm.
You know, and those of us who want to find these right here,
Those, yeah.
you know, I mean, when Mike first had the property, he didn't find these.
No.
Now, with the changes that have been made, he's finding more and more
Starting
each
to find
year.
them here and there, yeah.
Yeah, and my property is no different. Starting to find a few sheds, you know, here and there. Don't get me wrong, I found sheds, but starting to find a few more here and there
Well-
from what we've done.
And like what we're saying, yeah, because of what we've done, because the food goes away.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm gonna say, you know, so after gun season,
yeah,
you know, late February or
January.
late January, food's gone
Yeah, it's
for the most part.
pretty
It's
much,
gone.
yeah,
So, but your place is packed with deer. This place is packed with deer
right,
because you have the correct trees hinged
yeah,
on the ground for browse. Your canopy's open enough in the places it needs to be open
yeah,
to have stuff growing up. Or, what was the other one I was gonna say? You know, the shoots, you're getting the shoots
yeah,
regenerating off of the clear cut, you know, because people think you just cut a tree off and that's it.
yeah.
And it's not really how it
I
is.
forgot to tell you this. I want to tell you this, and it's just kind of an educational thing for everybody else too. So last weekend I was on the property. You know, I was up on
Yep.
my place. I went up into that big, thick bedding area, you know, above that intermediate trail, and I started looking, and there's poplar trees and stuff that were in there, smaller ones, you know. But what I found was, I'm looking at it, I thought it was a rub, you know, on a 3 or 4 inch one. Well, here it's deer. And this tells me that I need more new growth
Yep.
for them to feed on.
Yeah, browse.
They were eating the bark
Yeah.
on the tree. And, you know, that far up, because I'm looking at it, I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck is it? And then it looks like and it's not like they ate through it like a beaver would,
Mhm.
but they just peeled off the bark. That's what they were
Yeah.
doing. It was deer doing that.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. And it's a first time in 5 years since I've owned that property I've seen it. And what that tells me is where that heavy bedding location is up in that valley, we probably need to cut off some of them popples to get that regrowth down there. And it's thick, don't get me wrong, but just to
Yeah.
help have some of the
Right.
shoots come up and something for them to feed on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the on the floor browse or the trees hinged
Yeah,
that they will eat off of,
yeah,
you run out of food, and then you got too many deer.
Right.
Obviously,
100%.
they got nothing to eat. They're dying or they're moving on.
Yep.
You know, they're not there. You're not finding sheds. You're not. You know, maybe deer moving on to another property and they stay there.
Right.
You know, I mean,
This past January, February, and March, in my opinion, December, January, February, and March are the greatest time of year to accumulate deer.
Mhm.
They might not stay on you all year, but trust me, in the fall they'll be back.
yeah, because they're going to come in. They're checking it out.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so that, you know, if you're doing any bedding, and bedding, we have talked about,
Oh yeah, a lot.
that we believe is the biggest thing, is cover bedding,
Yeah.
is the biggest thing to have on a property, to have deer. You know, you can always have food, you can always have water.
Yep.
If you don't have bedding, proper bedding, it doesn't matter. None of it matters, you know, so, you know, you really gotta get educated on cutting trees, trust me.
Yeah, and you can educate yourself, but it's always better to, I mean, educate yourself. I'm not saying don't do it yourself. I'm saying, but educate yourself and realize that there's people out there that you can get information from that are very knowledgeable and are willing to help you. And in my opinion, it's worth it to pay those people to come and help you assess, whether you pay them to help assess which trees to cut, you do the cutting, or you have them come in and do it, because trust me, they're far more efficient than you are.
Yeah. And they're safer than.
And they're safer, yeah, yeah. And when you're cutting big trees, especially some of the big trees like Mike cut this year, you need somebody who really knows what's going on.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, and if there's more than one of you in the woods, it's always good to know what everybody's doing.
You know, get a plan laid out, like we laid out a whole plan here, you know, back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I didn't have the stones at the time to do all the cutting that they wanted to do. You know, now this year we went back and did all of it.
Yeah.
It's a lot, you know, I know it's gonna change it. But it's set up for whitetails.
Plus, that's a fun part too.
Yeah.
So now you get to
You know, it's gonna change. Now you gotta kind of relearn it, you know, and why would you wanna relearn your property? Well, you know, you always want them to be better. And especially, you know, Steven's talking about fallback bedding and any bedding, and we talk about it all the time. TSI is timber stand improvement, which a lot of people, I don't think they know what that is. And timber stand improvement isn't always about planting trees. It's about getting trees out of there that aren't supposed to be there, controlling invasives. You know, obviously hinge, everybody wants a hinge cut. Hinge cut. Don't get me wrong, hinge cutting's great. You better know how to do it.
Better know what trees to do it with.
Yeah, don't just go start hinging stuff.
You better, you know. Better know. I mean, don't go. There are times that you hinge oaks.
Yeah.
And people are gonna freak out. Oh my God, you got it. No, honest truth. Because let's just say you have cedars. And what I don't mean cedars by as in like a cedar tree. I mean by a big red oak or white oak or bur oak that you want to drop acorns.
Tree. Yes.
You want to take out the immature stuff that interferes with the growth of that tree.
Growing,
yeah. And if you don't do that, that tree sooner or later is going to get harmed. It's going to die, and you're going to have an ecosystem that's really jacked up.
Yeah, yeah. If you got a hardwoods and you got big white and big red oaks.
Yeah.
And you look around them.
Yeah.
And you don't have any other white or red oaks coming up anywhere near them.
You got a problem.
You have a problem.
Yes, 100%.
You know, and you don't got to be a forestry
genius
to know that. Like seriously, if you see that, you're like, okay, stuff's got to get cleared away.
Yeah.
Something's got to come down or be cut off or whatever it is, because, like you say, every one of us dropping an acorn.
Right.
Every acorn's a tree.
Right.
If it wants to be.
It should. Yeah.
You know. So, and obviously, those are the kind of trees you want.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the other aspect of bedding too that I'll throw in there quick, and I talked to Mike about it earlier. Everything is perfect out there at his place on the back here. The only thing I recommend or would add, and we discussed and he agrees, is I would add some sort of conifer in those bedding areas. And it's not going to be, it's going to be like a white spruce or a blue spruce or something like that. That's going to get sunlight enough to grow. Spruce trees will grow in there. You can't put a white pine in there because it's going to die.
Yeah.
But a spruce will grow in those bedding areas, and what that's going to do is that's just actually going to help the thermal cover as it progressively gets. In 8 years, if you let's just say we put 2 or 3 year old seedlings in there that are 24 to, let's just say 18 to 24 inches. But in 8 years from now, those trees will be 3.5, 4 feet tall, and they're going to be a perfect bedding area, thermal cover setup, because there's the down trees and everything that's been done already.
Yeah.
In 10 years, you'll have to harvest.
We planted a lot of pine trees.
Yeah.
Which would have been a perfect layout.
Yeah.
but we screwed up and didn't have the canopy open enough
Correct.
to get the light to those trees. So we lost a lot of those trees. A lot of work, a lot of money, and a lot of dead trees.
Yeah.
So, you know, do research, save yourself money.
Yep.
Call people up. There's a lot of guys out there. Like I worked with Custom Game Land Management.
Yep.
Brian is the guy's name that I've known for a long time. Any of these companies can set up a good plan for you.
Yep.
You know, and have a couple companies do it if you don't believe it. You know, Karl and I go and set up properties.
Right.
You know, are we going to come and cut your trees? We're not going to come and cut your trees. You know,
We can do a layout for you and tell you who to go to.
yeah, it's hard stuff to do. You know, water, food, trees, stuff like that. If you have knowledge of it and you've done it, you can set up properties and you can have it work for you.
Yeah, and a property, to be a proper whitetail property, just so everybody's aware, and I'm sure you all know if you're watching the podcast, but you have to have a setup. You can't just take any piece of property. Not all property is good for whitetail hunting.
No.
Not all wooded property is good for whitetail hunting. Not all swamp. Not all anything. A diverse property has as much of that difference as possible.
Right.
Edging, all of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of steps. It
Yeah.
really is. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of money.
And it takes more than just a year to set it
Yeah,
up, get
and
it
that's
right.
why I say a lot of people want everything now. You can't have everything now.
No.
You got to do things in progressions. And a lot of people, and I know a lot of people out there because I've talked to a lot of them, I've seen a lot of them. They want to cut trees and they want to do this.
Yeah.
Until it comes time to cutting trees,
Yeah.
and then they don't want to cut trees.
Right.
You know, so and like Karl said, you can't stand them back up.
Nope.
You're not gonna Gorilla Glue and put them back up in the air.
That's not gonna happen.
You know, but so know what you're doing.
Yeah. If you cut trees and it looked really good that very first year, if you didn't think it out right, and the canopy comes the next year, all those trees that you cut can be dead.
Yep.
So you should have probably cut more than you thought you should.
Yeah, it's got to be. And you know, certain trees. You know, Karl and I know this. Some trees you can hinge.
Yeah.
They'll live a year.
Oh yeah.
Some will live 2. Some will live 3. Some will live 5, 10.
Yes.
It really depends. So if you just think you're going to hinge a bunch of trees and also a year later they're all dead,
Yeah.
now you just hurt yourself more than you helped yourself.
Yeah. That's true. 100%.
You know, and it's just research. It's just time. And you know, we're not saying that we're the know all end all. I mean, we're close. We're right there.
We do well.
But
But Steve, we appreciate the question. Thanks
Yep.
for asking the question. Remember to check out the Obsession Podcast at
check us out on YouTube. Check us out on The Obsession on Facebook.
Yep.
On Instagram. You can go on either one of our personal pages. Blue Collar Bucks.
Blue Collar Bucks.
Like, share, subscribe, any of that, follow.
We got another one for you guys. Just so you're aware, we have now separated. It's not separated. Everything's still together, just so you're all aware. But Rush Outdoors WI is one YouTube channel where you can see the Obsession Podcast. And the Obsession Podcast is a specific podcast setup. You guys on YouTube, check that out. Remember to subscribe to the channel because we want to grow that side of it. We're going to keep the two separated just because we're getting bigger and things are happening. We got a couple other cool things going on throughout the
We
year.
got some good projects coming up. So if you could go on that YouTube and subscribe to the Obsession Podcast again would be awesome. Stay on them both.
Yep.
Because we're cool
That's the way we
and
are.
we're on both of them.
Right on.
So yeah, buddy.
We appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah, buddy.